I tend to have that kind of effect on people. Oh no. Hey, it's Poisson variance, your mathematical maestro and LaTeX linguist. Is what I would say if LaTeX was effectively working. It feels like there are issues with it. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. See? It is, try it here. Try it with single. I don't think it likes the, sorry, I'm checking. I don't think it likes the math space, like the double dollar signs very well. Try it with single, because the examples. It seems like the brackets don't entirely. So like, inf d, do inf d. Better, but not great. Interesting. So it's not perfect. Okay, I'll have to mess with that, but it's good to know that even though it has... It's partially... It's partially there. You know what it is, I think? It's anything with the brackets. It doesn't like the brackets. It doesn't like brackets. So, I'm wondering. Anything in... Yeah, the subscripts and powers and stuff are disappearing. I'm unsure of how to deal with that. I can mention that it's, Mew was nice enough to help me out, help me set it up. He was busy at the time. He ended up sending me his stuff, and so I was kind of messing with it. I wanted to make sure that I kept the way it was currently set up, where it was like, did the white background and stuff. What if we just do something like this? Does like regular e to the x, if we don't have brackets, show up? No, okay, so it's no powers, no subscripts. It doesn't like. That's crazy. Interesting. I can figure out why that's happening on my end later. But regardless, how is everybody doing today? I have some good news. But first I would like to hear about the plethora of individuals. Jay. that makes up. No, I'd like to hear about what you guys have been up to, how you guys are doing. Someone subbed right at the start of this stream. One of the weirdest things is that one of my it might be my second most viewed short ever now, is just the reaction from Brave Little Toaster. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why I mean, it's a reaction clip, that's why. But yeah, the reaction of Brave Little Toaster is one of my most viewed shorts now. It's 2 hours of work in before you started melting. Hey, that's better than nothing. That's not nothing. That's not nothing. Feel proud of the fact that you got 2 hours of work in. It is commendable. It is commendable. I today went to a job interview, and at the end of the interview got offered the job. It was just a part-time position, but now I'm like, yay, second job. Second job, more monies. I like monies, especially for more car repairs. You're a React streamer? No. Please no. Yeah, it's not my most viewed short yet, so as long as it doesn't become my most viewed short, I'm safe. But it is quickly encroaching upon my most viewed short, so I'm at risk. I'm at risk of becoming a React streamer. My greatest fear. I wouldn't say it's my greatest fear. But you know what? It's up there. I wonder if that changes things. Well, it deleted the entire chat log because I updated it, but you know. You know. I gotta see if Mew has been having any troubles, but I'll deal with that when I deal with that. Your greatest fear is a sudden heart attack. Mine's a sudden aneurysm. Because isn't it like aneurysms, like they don't know entirely how they happen? Or like they're not like wholly predictable yet. So like you could one day just be like blah 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 blah. And you just that's it. Just that's it. You lose. You rolled poorly. You rolled poorly. Tough break, buckaroo. Can fall and be dead before you hit the floor. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's terrifying. Thankfully, if you just don't think about it, then it's not terrifying. Just pretend it's not a problem. And then yeah. Just pretend it's not a problem and ignore it and just every day hope that it doesn't happen to you. Which, I mean, is most bad things. Just hope bad things don't happen to you in general. Do not wish ill upon yourself nor on others. But why is it pushing that upwards? What the heck? The L via the added into the ratio. Why is it but why is it putting that one as like a superscript now? What? Yeah. Wait. How is it doing that? Did it just turn L into a superscript? Do we have to learn a different version of LaTeX to get LaTeX to work correctly? This is worth experimenting. This is worth experimenting on. Okay. Oh, well, actually, because earlier it made... Earlier it made, like, the pi divided by 2 into some sort of subscript. No, that didn't work. That didn't work. I have no idea. I have no idea how to get that to work correctly. Let me actually try something real quick. So we're gonna go into our overlays here. So I'm gonna go ahead and send... I have a test message button. That just straight up doesn't exist. Your fraction does not exist. What in the goddamn? Is it here, maybe? Hold on, let me open up the... Let me open up my little source file. Which one is that? One from the data file. That doesn't work either. Geeble gorble. The geeble goo. No, so that's just the data file, so that doesn't do anything. Or the data file is just for like font types and stuff. Editor. Done. Do the editor for the other one. Data. Yeah, I have no idea. I imagine it's something in the setup itself. It could also because I think Mew uses it on Twitch, and so it might be optimized for Twitch versus YouTube. Even though those go through basically the same. We both use stream elements for that, so. Hey, Danny. Yeah, I don't know why he's doing that. No, we had LaTeX. I had LaTeX kind of working, and now it's not working. It was never fully working. I got it half working, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know enough about CSS to make those changes. But I digress. Okay. I also, unfortunately, let me switch over. I also, unfortunately, have something else, something that I need to confess, something that I have to get off my chest. So tomorrow is the Satisfactory stream. I booted up the game. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna play for 15 minutes. I'm gonna make sure that I can get through the tutorial, just so that we don't have to deal with any like painful fluff on the startup. Unfortunately, that has not quite gone correctly. I played a little bit more than 15 minutes. I played a bit more than 15 minutes last night. So, yeah, it got out of hand very quickly. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna play a little bit. Yeah. I'm only gonna try a little bit of Satisfactory. It's fine. It's fine. It won't get out of hand. And it very quickly got out of hand. It very quickly got out of hand. Yeah. I was like, I'm just gonna play for like I said, like 15 minutes to get through the basic stuff. And then, like, when I saved, it had been like 30, and I was like, okay, it hasn't been that long, that's fine. And then I had went away to do something, and I came back, and then I played for a bit more, and then I got a notification that I'd been playing for over 2 hours, and I was like, that can't be right. When I saved the game, it had been at like 3.5 hours last night. So, yeah, It was like 10:30 at night, and I was like, when did that happen? So Satisfactory tomorrow will not be starting off at a fresh world. I'm still only in like tier 2. I'm still very early on. You can see complete phase 1 is still up on the top right. But I do have some stuff and some supplies going into the game tomorrow, but that can be dealt with tomorrow. Yeah. Anyways, I'll go ahead and let Mew know about the issues with the LaTeX chat and see how it has been working for him. Because I think he's streaming right now, and so I don't want to ask him to like troubleshoot during his stream. Because that would be not fun. Because no one wants to be like, okay, let me stop everything I'm doing to then troubleshoot someone else's chat. To troubleshoot someone else's chat. That's what I want to do in the middle of my stream. So I'm not going to do that to him. Even though he's super kind, and I feel like he would probably be like, oh, let me see what I can do. We don't do that though. We don't force troubleshoot our friends. Or force our friends to troubleshoot. We do force troubleshoot our friends. That's what we do. We in fact make it so we troubleshoot them. What would that entail, troubleshooting a person? What's considered someone's diagnostic report? Like, if you're to go ahead and like run a I guess that's just like getting a physical. Is I was gonna be like, do a virus scan on them. That's just getting a physical. You know, a STI test. You know, a CAT scan. There's a lot of different diagnostics. It's almost like the computer diagnostics were named after people diagnostics. It's almost like the people diagnostics came first, but that can't be right. That can't be right at all. Something I did find out the other day, though, that I'd forgotten about, and then it came back to me because a paper popped up, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" So one of the things that we had wondered about was dealing with vectorized images without just turning them into rasterized images. Bone density. All medical tests are about bone density. You're probably right. Listen, you just keep drinking more milk. You just keep drinking more and more and more milk. That's the be all end all. Is just keep drink and keep drink and keep drink. So remember, if you want to be healthy, then make sure you keep drinking. You can quote me on that. Drinking solves your problems. But yeah, let's go ahead and... So what was it called? I wrote it down somewhere. I wrote it down to like my Google Keep notes. Google Keep is disappointing to me because it hasn't been updated in like years. Right. So the thing I'd wanted to consider is that, so for vector-based images, if I can spell, vector-based images, using a vector database, and this checks for similarity, not equality. And so I feel like there could be something there, because if we wanted to check for full equality, part of a vector, so part of a, you know, a vector-based image is like that scalability. But if you're checking for base equality, then you have to rasterize, because then you're saying, okay, this image matches that image, this pixel matches this pixel. The matrices are exactly the same. If you look for the matrices being similar in the terms of, say, scaled versions of one another, or whatnot, like close to one another in terms of scalability, then we could, in theory, save vectors as a database and then manipulate that in some way. So that way we would preserve the vector properties of a vector-based image. Will that actually work? I don't know. But it was something that I wanted to float around. Haha, float. Get it? Programming? Float, float, float. Cause like a floating point value. You get it? Am I funny? Oh. Okay. So enough of whatever that was. What we wanted to focus on today is implementing some pretty basic features of from the image. So from an image, for example, there are benefits to, say, getting the like distribution, which a gray level co-occurrence matrix could get, but that would be for a co-occurrence distribution. A few different distributions. Did you know that shot noise that is not, when you don't have a ton of noise, noise mirrors Poisson distribution, whereas when you do have a ton of noise, it becomes normalized. That was actually the point, or the thing that was one of my initial, like, I had an intro where it was like, I had a temporary intro where it was like, when the noise of the world has become normal, or something. I don't remember what it was. I remember it was kind of cringy though, but you know what, embrace the cringe. To be cringe is to be free. You know, speaking of that kind of stuff, like, I was watching old shorts. It's so crazy to see, like, how much my stuff has changed, and, like, I was looking at, like, backgrounds, the background that I had when I played Armored Core. Like, oh my god, that's so old. That's so old. That's so weird. That's so weird to finally be seeing that again. Hi, Yuji. Welcome. Oh, you're Yuta? Well, hi, Yuta. Your name says otherwise, but hi, Yuta. Yoi Tenkai. But yeah, so it was one of those crazy things of seeing, like, my old shorts, and I was just like, look at baby Poisson. Look at baby Poisson, who's so new to this. Who's so new to this whole streaming. Look at baby Poisson taking these shorts off of Twitch, using the Twitch shorts editor, and them turning out horrible. That was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. I've actually, funny enough, Yuta, I've discussed before what my domain expansion would be. What my domain expansion, I need to up the chat limit. What my domain expansion would be if my VTuberness was one. Yeah. Cute little cat. I gotta figure out why the emotes sometimes don't show up and then sometimes do. What am I doing? Today we are working on a little imaging project. Just with the Let me find it. But the main idea is personal project, take images of any type, perform mathematical analysis on them, and then we can extract that information to be used in stuff like machine learning. And we're going to be doing all of our analysis not with built-in functions, but with stuff that we essentially make. So big math nerd stuff. All right, let's see. So the thing I had wanted to do is to find some image analysis info. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new... Let me actually make a little folder in here that's just going to be test notebooks. That's fine. And then in test notebooks, you're in Tokyo cosplaying as Yuji. Cool. That's really cool. How's Tokyo? I've always wanted to go. But, you know, money. It's one of those things that's never financially very easy. But something that I have wanted to do. I'm supposed to say test. That I have always wanted to do and just never been able to financially really set aside the money to do. I want to do it in the future though. I wanna do it in the future. Image as SK. Okay. I'm thinking that it's one so because I'm, you know, saving up money for grad school and whatnot. It's one of those things that if I would have to spend quite a bit of time to set aside and save up for that specifically. But is there a math conference in Tokyo? Just ask work for money. Ooh, that's a smart idea. That's a smart idea. I should do that. I should just go ahead and ask, see if I can go as a business expense. That's genius. I'm stealing that, Danny. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing money from my job so that I can... Unfortunately, my current job, be that one or the one that I just got, neither of them would be willing to do that. Unfortunately. Ugh. Your friend is cosplaying as Yuta, the other one is cosplaying as Maki, and the other guy is Sakuna. That's cool. I think Maki, my favorite... I think my favorite character... My two favorite characters in JJK. One of them was Maki, and then is it Toji? I'm trying to. It's been a while since because I read it and then I haven't watched the new season or anything because I prefer to read it. Why is this taking so long? Toji was Fushigoro's dad, right? I vaguely remember that. Right. Yeah. So those were my two favorite characters. That was my two favorite characters. Were Maki and did you ever tell you the story about that one Genshin cosplayer forced to learn about lipid metabolism? What am I making? We're just making a basic image analysis, like an image, read in images and then perform some feature analysis on them with the goal of extracting said information for machine learning purposes. And it's true that these... Why? Okay, why? Hold on a minute. Like such libraries already exist, but the goal is to train my own mathematical programming abilities rather than just be like, okay, I'll just go ahead and use what's already built in. There we go. Jesus. That was weird. Yeah. It keeps doing this thing where it, like, mildly crashes the kernel. So, I don't know why. I'm not crazy. Let's see. There's a biochemistry conference on the other side of this convention center with some anime convention and he got lost. That's awesome. That's my dream. That's my dream of being able to go to one convention and then on the other side is a conference and then I can just hop between the two. Computer vision way more fun than just training data. I mean, yeah, it's something that I would not be adverse to giving a test. Anyways, so let me see. I want to go ahead and start meshing with stuff. What image were we using? Just didn't the manga finish? Isn't the manga done? Isn't the manga done? I seem to remember it being done. Let's do 5D rematch is a pretty one. Did he keep doing it? Did it keep going? I swear it had finished. I didn't know it had. I thought I had. Did it keep going and I just didn't know? Because I thought it was just like fully done. Well, learn something new every day, I guess. What was I doing? All right. Oh yeah, I guess you should preface spoilers if you did not read the manga. Apologies. Oops, it's supposed to be CV2. There we go. Trying to remember the commands. I haven't messed with this in so long. So if I just want CV2 dot, how do I read? Just read the file. Is it open? What the heck's the command for it? I did it the other day and I don't remember what it was. Review image.open. I didn't actually do it with that though. Let's go back into our trying to remember how to read images. Oh yeah, it's imread. That's what it is. Do I get to specify the format maybe? Oh right, and then I specify how I do it. So the default right is color. Right. Images. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not just a matrix. Otherwise, yeah, I would be using pandas for anything like that. Let's see. Let's I'm blanking. CV2 dot format, or what is it? Color. Oh no, it's imread. That's what it is. Imread. So what if I do any color? Does that let me do like really just any color space? Or does this automatically identify or change to the color? Other friend be Yuji Itadori, which would be It sounds like a fun. So something I want to check is that I actually read it incorrectly. Okay, good. So it sounds like a fun collection. Convention. And then if I, how did I do it? You do the image show work, right? And then I can do image, or no, image is the second one. But then before that, I end up doing like title. You have no experiences with imaging? Yeah, so the research I've done has been with images, which image analysis. And so I do have experience with it, but I haven't touched it in like 2 years or something. A year? Because the actual work finished, and then it became... The work finished a while ago, and then it became writing the paper, and then it... And you go back and look at your old code, and you're like, what in the goddamn? Okay, so it doesn't like that. But we can do display image. Yeah, I know. Oh, it reads it in as an array. Interesting. I thought it would read it in as a... Because if we do this, so so the thing is though, it's actually kind of like causing the kernel to crash when I do that. Oops. Like, yeah, so that's image show. No, yeah. So well, I mean, so that's what I did, and it caused the kernel to... It tried to open it. It did not like it though. What did I do inline previously? The last time I did this. Well, I mean, that's what I did, where I did cv2.image show. So you can't actually, watch. Title, just cause, image. So it tries to open up a new window, and the thing is, the new window does not respond. you can't, it's not showing on screen, because it's just capturing VS Code. But yeah, and then it crashes the kernel, and I have no idea why. Have I tried promoting it? You know, I didn't try promoting it. You're right. I should do that, Danny. You're right. You're right. ChatGPT won't hurt. Yeah, but I don't like using that. I don't really I don't like vibe coding. So okay, so I'm reading up on it. It says that in notebooks, it doesn't like doing the image show. But okay, so in that case, we could use matplotlibs. pyplot, it's PLT. Yes, start kernel. And then we can do I wonder if that does the same way. Title and then just image. No boy. I love when restarting the kernel takes a suspiciously long amount of time. It really makes my day. We could wait for a key press. That's true. Okay. CMap equals probably RGB. Oh, crap. Ah, that's fine. Jesus. What in the goddamn? What is flippin' going on with this? I know the screen just disappeared, but just give me a minute. I want to try and fix this. Because I have to open some settings that will dox my file names, because my file names I very intelligently make doxable. Trust me, it's a good idea to always make your file names doxable for yourself. There we go. Okay. Okay, RGB is not a color map it can use on default, but well, it it warped the colors, so I think I have to read it in as an RGB maybe instead of as, there we go, because it by default reads it in as a BGR, and so then I can mess with that. Okay, cool. Walla beans. And it does the correct aspect ratio of a 720 by 12 or a 1280 by 720. Awesome. I want to look at the BGR one again. I gotta send that to Kikado. That's awesome. I'm saving that. I'm saving that. I'm saving that for when we do the rematch of the rematch. Because I currently hold the 5D chess title. And that makes me very happy. But, so it's good to know that this can actually get read in as a matrix. Meaning that I can now perform BS on it. So if I wanted to do something, actually, just curious. No, it does not. I meant that. I don't know. I was thinking NumPy shape. Okay, so it does read as a NumPy array. Cool beans. So then, if I wanted to, say, just get excuse me. Distribution. So if I wanted to just then take the distribution of this array as a frequency like, so yeah, I could do it as a histogram. So like we would be able to do okay. So if image is our array, then we can do counts and then the bins as a built-in histogram. I'm actually unsure of what the histogram looks like for NumPy. Like, I know it for PyPlot and I know it for Seaborn. Image, and then bins, we'll say 5 bins. Range 1 to 5, or I guess that'd be 4 bins, but and then guilty dot. Oh no, okay, wait, no, this is actually what I want. Print counts bins, oops. Bin edges. The frequency counts and the bin edges. Well, that doesn't help me at all. Cool beans. I love not functioning things. Or maybe my innate misunderstanding of them. Okay, how do I do it with a distribution? Let's do that. Just guilty.histogram image bins equals auto biscuit. Must have 2 or fewer dimensions. Okay, that's why. So this is currently in 3D. So let's go ahead and do image. Oh, we can go ahead and use one of our other functions, actually. From color, color conversion, import star. What do you mean no module named color conversion? Oh, it's because that's in a... Ugh. Okay. If I move this out here, does it work? How much BS can I get away with? Cool. Cool beans. All right. So, what does SciPy do? I haven't used it really yet here, but it's going to be useful for statistical analysis, really. The SciPy stats library is pretty good. That's why I'm not just using that for a distribution. I don't know. I just scared myself. I just slightly bumped the books on my desk and I was like... But yeah, that's a really good point. So, I want to go ahead and... What the heck was the name of that one function in the color conversion? RGB convert format gray, and it should return it as a 2D. Convert image color, or was it format? Yeah. Gray. Image is not defined. Okay, that makes sense, but... Wait, what? Oh, because now it's trying to read in something that doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, but why? You were working just a minute ago. Image data of D-type object cannot be converted to a float? Wait, but it was literally just fine with it a moment ago. You were literally just fine with it. You were literally just fine with it. So what is it having trouble with? I think I know what it is. Oh, you bitch. Or biscuit. Why does this keep... Why is restarting this kernel always taking an hour when it shouldn't take literally anything? What song is this? Oh, it's Alien. Run the import, then run it? Yeah, maybe. Like, that should have... But now it says it's restarting the kernel when I know that's not flippin' true. Okay. So the only thing that changed is I did this imported color conversion. No, but now that's not working either. So actually with the placement of where the test images are, I think. Test images, 5D rematch, PNG. Why doesn't it like this path, I don't think. No, so it doesn't like the path? It shouldn't do anything. Oh, no, okay, so it was literally a period was there. And then it was not there. Cool. I love things that are things. This is taking a suspiciously long amount of time. Like a... Why is this not, you know, 0.00? Why is this not a millisecond? I really just watched it like, I mean, I do that too, where I'm just like, I move something and I'm just like, when did I do that? What? I'm sorry, why is that? That should not be taking that long. No, I made the mistake of clicking anything to do with the kernel. Yeah, I need to do... I shouldn't be doing that. I need to set, instead of automatic bins, I think that's it, it's just too detailed. What's my other choice for the histogram? It's not even that crazy large of an image, because normally that's... Like I said, I've run programs that check every pixel. Don't get me wrong. And they take milliseconds. I've like check every pixel like 8 times over. Like that's what you do with like a co-occurrence matrix, is you check the co-occurring pixels, which means it checks the relationship between each pixels following each other, then flips the image and then checks it again, then flips the image and then checks it again, then flips the image and then checks it again. Reality, it only does a few times, but then it does it across that multiple different color spaces, and that took like milliseconds. So I'm like, what is this? Why is it doing this? Why is it doing this? Okay. Let's see. I want to check. Oh, the iPlot histogram. What's the other way? Oh, God, I have not worked with... What are my options for... Maybe the thumbnail's too good. I don't I don't think it's that high of, like, it's only a 1280 by 720, so I'm like, in sequencer string defaulted hist dot bins defaults 10. Oh. Curious. Doing a 2D histogram. It should do a default of like 10 bins. Guilty is not defined. My brother in Christ, what are you talking about? Okay, never mind. That's true, I could do Ravel. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, there it is. There's the 256. There we go. 256 different bins. Okay, let's try and make that a bit smaller. Just shrink that a little bit into like 10 bins. That's pretty funny. I think it's because it's doing the conversion is the main culprit for the time, because that's a wildly inefficient. The way I have it set up is wildly inefficient. Just kidding. It really wants to do 256 different bins. Even though I told it to do 10. Cool. So the other thing I want to check, actually, I want to see if that actually is the thing doing it. We can just do it with one. Or 1280 by 10. Why is it? Yeah, why is it still separating it by that? It's adamant on doing these, all of these bins instead of doing, say, 10 of them. Bins an integer or a sequence? Yeah, 10 bins. Please do a histogram with 10 bins. Get rid of the conversion thing. Okay, turns out the conversion wasn't the problem. No, the most expensive part of that calculation seems to be the histogram itself. Yeah, let's go ahead and try doing that. Travel. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that was a good call. That was a good call to ravel it. So in that case, let's go ahead and boop, boop. RGB. I thought my neck was gonna crack. Image format equals gray, even though that's default. Boom. Okay, yeah. So the biggest thing was that it did not like the. There we go. There's the millisecond we needed. Muchas gracias. Bueno. Perfecto. That actually works a lot better. I need to send this to Kikado because that's really funny. You get awarded our highest medal of honor, which is bins, you guess, because you was, yeah, I think so, because it had the 256 range. It was just like, oh, let's not bin it. I don't know why. Also, I don't know why it still thinks a kernel is running when it is not, but Eggers is what it is. As if Danny, if you are still here, that is comedy gold what you just sent in the Discord. Alright, so next what we want to do is extract this information purely numerically. So if I want to grab the frequency distributions of an image from a matrix, how could we do this? I feel like the best way to do it would be with SciPy stats. But let's look at our SciPy library and see. Our SciPy docs. Ooh, my connection is something fun today. There we go. Arguably, this is another place where pandas might help us skip over some stuff, but what's my major? I have a degree in applied math. in applied math. Oh, I didn't realize there's a library for just hopping from Python to R when it comes to stats. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Cool. Generates a histogram or distribution given by histogram. Applied math, nice. Thank you. What a nerd. I know, right? I know, right? Imagine. Let's see what I can do with this. Where are my frequency distributions, please? Please. Summary statistics. We have our means. I mean, yeah, we do have our mountain of summary statistics here. Let me just switch over the window capture so you guys can see. Our mountain of summary statistics to choose from that are not in alphabetical order. Quantile. How the hell? Wait, what? How did I end up here? There we go. This is what I'm familiar with. Variance. It should be showing now. I know it wasn't for a second there, but... Anyways, back to the funny word. Percentile. Man, that's how I knew back in college. That I knew that one of my classmates and I were on the same wavelength. Is that I had a textbook open on my iPad, and the name was Geometric Analysis. The name had been abbreviated to geometric, another word, and then I said, look, and then I pointed, and then at the same time we both went, geometric, and then started laughing. And that's how I know that autism was on the same wavelength. Okay, let's see. Okay, what am I actually looking for? That's what I need to narrow down for myself. Because I'm like so out of it right now. I had a job interview earlier, and so I'm just like, I'm vibing. Oh. Ooh, image. Hold on a minute. And the image. Hold on a minute. I immediately got distracted by imaging stuff. Use grayscale. We could do to grayscale. Look at, we have so many fun different filters. A Laplacian. Our maximum filter, minimum filter. Our Fourier transform stuff. I'm sorry. I got distracted. That's one of the tough parts. So if we wanted to if we wanted to do it on a few different pieces, we would have to probably essentially extract our data and then concatenate or take the average normalize it across 2 different levels of 256. And the thing is, most often, you'll just put it into grayscale. But that's no fun. What job? I currently have a job, but I was looking for another part-time job just to help save up. That's just like a small thing on the weekends at a casino. Just like in the F&B department. Something easy. Just a bit of manual labor to pick up a few extra bucks. Because guess what? It all comes down back to money. Anyways, so what I want to do is get... So what I actually want... Hold on a minute. What do I want? Let me write down what I want just for myself. Frequency distribution of image. I want... There was actually something that I saw in a minute. It's like back in the stats section with converting from a histogram. Job, I hate that word. The scary word. Ooh. What does this do? I don't know why my Wi-Fi is being my Wi-Fi, but... It's like specifically my browser is being a pain. And I have no idea why. I don't really have anything running in the background. Oh, so we can do fun stuff like this. Check it out, check it out, check, check, check. So this is what we can do with SciPy. So if I were to do stats dot, what was the command? gmean. I think that was the one. Yeah. Then we can go ahead and it will inherently ravel the image. So then we get the geometric mean across all 3 dimensions, which is cool. So ultimately these are just useful little tools. We have 1,000,001 different applications. So if we were to essentially compile those, like honestly, so what we can have it do is like grab, say, just some. So if we wanted to do something that was just like aggregate data, we're also actually going to do pyplot SPLT in there as well, so that we can in our little thing plot distributions as well as jump from a histogram into a frequency distribution made from said histogram. Because guess what? Distributions prettier than histograms. So we're just going to define a function. I need a name for it. This is always the hardest part of programming for me, is coming up with names for stuff, because I always overthink it. I guess it could be, in a sense, just kind of like aggregate features. So temporarily, I'm just gonna call it egg feet. Which sounds funny now that I say it out loud. It's spelled differently, but pronounced it's egg feet, and, you know, who cares? That's... So we go ahead and we take our image I. So the thing we immediately want to check is... we want to raise... I'm going to have a return, just nothing right now. I want it to raise a value error. If what? What do I want to flag it for? I want to flag it just in case. And we can append to this, but I want to flag it. Well, what would break it? What would break it? If the image is not a valid shape, that would break it. So if we have, the thing is, you could have a 4D image, like the fourth. Well, no, that's still 3D. Well, no, you have 4 different. No, it's still 3D. But sometimes you do have these like 4D images. Well, I guess I guess one of the ways, how could it not be valid? In a sense, if we were to... Oh, and the other thing I want to check is, do we want to normalize it? I'm going to set the default norm to be false. If... But then again, if the image loads, then this won't be a problem. So we're going to assume the image is loaded, and we're going to assume the image fits all the parameters. If we even call these aggregate features, then we're not going to run into a problem. So really, I don't really have to see. I'm setting roadblocks beforehand, so there's no reason to set roadblocks inside the error for extra checking, because that'll just run on the runtime. So that makes my life a little bit easier. That's a good point. So let's go ahead and calculate a few different things. So we want our different means. We want our mode. We want, if this is aggregate data, then we want this calculates aggregate data across the entire image. This is means, mode, frequency distribution. Is there anything really else? Let's see. I guess our maxes and mins wouldn't be bad. Max, min. And we can essentially just return a dictionary that's gonna... So this will be as an ND array. Does it work if can I set that like that? Yeah. Norm is false, and then return a dictionary. Cool. The covariance matrix will do as its own thing. Oh wait, is there a function that already does all this? What is it? What does it return? Min-max, mean, variance, skewness, kurtosis. Okay, we can do it anymore. That's true. We can do the kurtosis. We can do the skew. We can do the variance. Haha, variance, like in the name. Cool. Lots of aggregate data. So I guess we're actually going to call it egg summary. in theory, I could call it something else, and I just might. But guess what? That's a temporary name, and I can change it at a later date. It's my project. They can't stop me. Or if they can, I haven't figured out how. My foot is falling asleep. And so much for caffeine kicking in the median. Yeah, that's true. Let's oops. I forgot how commas work and how to spell. That's not a bad idea. Okay. So we're gonna return just a dictionary of all this stuff. So we're gonna have a few different means. Actually, I'm curious. What is the difference between a, say, the trimmed mean? Because I might be able to save some time. So one thing we also want to do is, before we do any of this, we want to say if norm, not nomer, is true, then we want to set I to be equal to the normalization of it. The norm is going to be from 0 to 1. That would be default. What song is this? But one of the things we would run into is, do we want to normalize it across the whole axis? Something we could do is, yeah, we could divide it by, the sum of axis, or it's numpy sum, right? Oops, that's supposed to be equal. I guess, yeah, we could just go ahead and sum across the whole thing. If we had wanted to do it axis by axis, that would do it, but yeah, we can just, there we go. Since it's a numpy array, can I just do like that? Doesn't look like it. Oops. And then we'll just assume I think by default it should ravel it, so that shouldn't be a problem. We're good there then. Then we want to calculate, right, I wanted to check what does the trimmed mean. Oh, the trimmed mean just... Interesting. So we can actually set extra the barriers, so to speak, on the mean. That's pretty cool. Hey bear, how you doing? How you doing? I just do the mean itself. No, it wants. Why doesn't it like scipy.stats? That should be fine. Huh. And then we can just set nothing on that. How you doing, no bear? How's life been treating you? Ooh, you just finished French class. How's that? How is it being French? How is it being a French for an hour a day? I mean, my day was pretty good. I had a job interview, and at the end of the interview, they offered me the job, so that's cool. Just like part-time work on the weekends, but money is money. Job is job is a job. I'm traumatizing my new viewer here by saying the word job over and over. But yeah. So it's been fun. No reason to waste time defining that. What I can just do is at the very end. No, we're actually gonna do it now, so we can add to it. Sorry. Enter summary. What's that? Okay, cool. So we're gonna set no restrictive values on our t-mean. And then we're gonna define... Let's go through all of our stuff. Normally it's mean, median, and mode is how we say it, so we're actually gonna rewrite this, and then I'm just gonna go in order. We're gonna go through all this stuff. You are gonna come at the end. You always come last. Problem with French language is it was definitely created by artists that quite lovely. Well, isn't it a romantic language? So it's like that entire style of language. Like that entire style of language will follow those kinds of same rules in the same way that like English is Germanic, and so Germanic languages are much more rigid and follow less artsiness and are just kind of words. Just kind of like information. And then you have a romantic language, it's like bueno. Just like, you know, start up a stream and I can be like, where are the variables? Or I can be like, ¿Dónde es la variables? Le, el, da, el. If it's gender neutral, it defaults to masculine, right? So it'd be like, ¿Dónde es el variables? Variables? ¿Dónde es el... Or would it be different because it's plural? See, I don't really know Spanish. I've been trying to learn here and there because I have a ton of Latin American friends. No romance and making you suffer because of... Oddly specific. Yeah, ¿Dónde está la variable? Variable is feminine. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Perfect. Then donde you know what? You guys are all now female. Canonically. That's what the Spanish language has decided. So that's the case. This is canon now. This is canon now. You don't really get a say in it. Oh, so that one you actually have to use image for. Look at your channel, amazing work. Thank you. Yeah, no, I haven't actually uploaded a new video in a while. I need to. Ooh, the Extrema. Oh, we can actually, what am I doing in stats? Why am I doing this in stats? Hold on a minute. I'm doing this in stats for no reason. I should be doing it in the image. I'm literally in imaging. Why am I not doing it just here? Yeah, I know. I've been working on 2 different videos that I need to go ahead and get out already that I have been dragging my feet on. I know, but why don't I just do this from our... I should just do this. Import scipy dot nd image as NDI, I guess, for myself. There we go. There we go. That looks prettier. So, summary. And see, this dictionary we could totally print as a, Wait, all the variables became girls before I got to become one? This isn't fair. This isn't fair at all. I'm furious. I am furious. Wait till my lawyer hears about this. So I know there is a summary statistics option, but it doesn't give me everything I want. So instead of trying to append to that, I'm just going to do it all. Control Alt down arrow. Wait, what? Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what? Whoa, wait, what happened? What it... What happened? Like... Oh! I didn't know that. Shift Alt down makes copies on the line below. I didn't know that. See? Learn something new every day. Learn something new every day. Alt Shift. Whoa. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool. What else did I need to... Why did I tab out? I need to look at this. Kurtosis. So for kurtosis, I will need stats. Excuse me. Cool. You're gonna work on your thesis, okay? Thanks for stopping by for your little 5 minutes of 5 minutes of hangout as appreciated. Next we have the skew. I like that. Wait, hold a minute. You just taught me this and I didn't even do it. Oh, there we go. And I do oops. Something I'm wondering actually, how do you guys type? So I think that's stats. Cool. Your 5 minutes of checking on me. It's what I need to be kept an eye on. I need to be kept an eye on so I don't cause absolute chaos. I don't cause absolute chaos. I think I'm fine. I think I'm well regulated. I need to hydrate though. Hydration complete. What what else do I need to... so I want to do the frequency distribution, and this one is going to be the weirdest one. So what we can do is take the histogram. Frequency distribution. The apocalypse fish. Thank you, thank you. I try my best. I try my best, but it still ends up as an apocalypse. So the thing... Oh, this doesn't exist. I think that has to be a stats. Yeah, that's the stats. Okay. I try my best. I try my best to... I'm hiding it from you. I am... Yeah, no, I feel like I'm a pretty good job of not being chaos incarnate when I'm not caffeinated. See, if I'm very caffeinated, I will just go. If I'm set up, I will just go. It really comes down to how much my brain is, you know, double shift casino play doesn't seem right. Well, no, one job's at the casino, the other job is somewhere else. The other job is a support technician. Not IT, but a support technician that's not IT. Yeah. So the thing I wanted to check was in the frequencies. Relative frequency histogram. She's a gambler. No. All right. I have more information. I can do like a entropy and whatnot. No, but I'm not a gambler, but I did just get a job at a casino today. The IT guy who fixes laptops for other employees. Oh, that's awful. Yeah. God. Actually, there's a few other things I want to grab before I do frequency distribution here. I want to do what is it? The standard error. The geometric standard deviation. Can I do the standard deviation of just the image itself? Like, if I come here, oh, perfect. I can. What do I do at the casino? So I just got the position, and it's just it's actually a few different things. I can switch between them. I can do like serving. I can do basically when you get employed there, you can kind of fill any role in the kind of like food and beverage department. Like I said, it's just to like pick up a few extra bucks on the weekends. But when I start, it'll be so like serving and stuff if I want, and then mainly it's gonna be like banquet hall setup and stuff. A lot of kind of like labor intensive, move from stuff from point A to point B, set up rooms, you know. It basically just the basic labor that someone has to do. Go gamble there, just tease the fish. Sounds like a cover story for someone who... So funny enough, when I was doing the interview, and they're like, okay, so he offered me the job at the end of the interview, and he's like, so it's probably gonna take a few weeks, you know, so we have some orientation stuff, we have some HR stuff, and one of the things they have to do is, you know, it's a casino, so they want to make sure to run a background check to make sure you don't have anything, you know, any sort of criminal record or anything, which I don't, even though, okay, I don't, but, and then my immediate response, I went, I don't know, no, what did I say? I was like, I said, yeah, I said, you got me. This is actually part of my heist plan. And like, luckily he thought that was funny. I could have immediately shot myself in the foot if I'm like, yeah, I'm actually planning on pulling a heist in this casino. This is my first crime. It's gonna be really hard for me to not make consistent jokes at the casino about pulling heists at the casino. You're essentially working as one of the international distractions set by the intentional tricks so that people can't count cards. Probably, somewhat, yes. You surprised they didn't find my apocalypse crimes? Yeah, because they haven't seen me play Fallout before. I don't play Fallout on stream, so they can't catch me for those ones. I have actually been playing Fallout 3 again recently for the first time in like 10 years, and so because I like played on the Xbox 360 and I don't have a 360 anymore, and so I was like, you know what, let's start a character on Fallout 3 and start going through that, and so that's been fun. Right, so the frequency distribution, what I want to do. I want to seem like they didn't do a background check on you. They haven't yet. Trust me, they won't find anything. Okay, craziest story. Do you want my craziest story? That's the closest I've ever gotten to getting arrested. I've told this one on stream before, but it's bizarre. It's just 'cause it's really funny. So so when I was like maybe 14, I had a friend, and the friend had an uncle. The uncle was a hunter. The uncle was also not a responsible person. The uncle was a very, very irresponsible person who would constantly get high, and he was not he was also not just he was not a morally very good person. He ended up disowning that friend after he found out that my friend was bisexual. He ended up disowning said friend, and said friend lived with him at the time, so he ended up having to move to live with his dad, who was not also a good person, but was for different reasons. I don't know. Anyways, that's all unimportant. The important part is that this uncle was a hunter, and he was heading out, and him and his nephew, him and my friend were heading out, and he had been showing me this kind of model revolver he had. That was cool. It was like a model 357. He's showing it to me, and he hands it to me, and he's like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. I don't care." And so the uncle gives me this model 357. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, anyways, so they end up heading out, and I'm walking home, because we lived within walking distance of each other, like a 5-minute walk from one another. I'm walking through the neighborhood, holding this model 357. The thing I did not know, this was not a model. This was not a model gun. This man handed this 14-year-old an actual 357 Magnum and said, "Hey, do you want this?" There was no, it was not loaded. It was not loaded. But he gave me so I was walking home with just an actual gun. Who did I shoot? No one. There were no bullets or anything. It may have even been messed with so it couldn't fire anymore. I don't know. But it was an actual gun that I just was walking home with, holding. Surprise, surprise. Somebody must have looked out their window and went, oh my god, that child, that literal 13, 14-year-old has a firearm and is casually walking down the street with it. A police officer, as I'm walking home, pulls around the corner and immediately flags me down and is like, all right, I need you to set that on the ground and put your hands behind your head. And so I was like, okay. Like, I was like, it's just a model. And then I set it down. He takes it, he puts it away. And he puts it in his car. And I'm standing there with like my hands behind my head. And another cop pulled up. And the cop's like, what do we got? And the first cop's like, he's got a 357. And he's like, Jesus, like what the hell? Like, holy shit. And I'm confused. This whole time I'm confused. I'm like, what? Like, it's just a model. And he's like, okay, kid, where do you live? And I was like, explain what's happening. And I'm like, well, I got it from my friend's uncle. He gave me that model gun, and I was just on my way home, you know? And he's like, okay, we're gonna drive you home. Go ahead. And they were thankfully very nice about it. Put me in the back of the car. They took me home. I didn't get arrested. And they were like, okay, so we double checked, like, this is real. This is real. So yeah, it has been modified, so it, you know, they like looked at it, it could not fire anything, so it was, for all intents and purposes, it had been rendered inert. And he said, do not take this outside again. This is real. And I ended up getting he talked to me, he talked to my parents, and he was like, this could A, get you in a lot of trouble, and B, get you, you know, in a bad situation, get you hurt. So I recommend, he was like, you return that to the person who gave it to you, to your friend's uncle, as soon as possible, and do it in do not carry it when you do, like, put it in a bag or something, because otherwise this will cause problems. And so I appreciate that he was willing to let me off scot-free with it. So no, I did not keep it. I returned it. But that was the closest I ever got to getting arrested, was walking around with just a real 357 down the street. Next drawing will be fish getting arrested. Please do it. Please, Bear, make a drawing of me getting arrested for the 357. Be amazing. When will you tell the story when you were walking with a loaded AK-47? Never. I mean, funny enough, on that same walk, not that same walk, but walking along that same route, is when I casually walked by a dude who was just carrying a machete, who looked he was disheveled. I think he might have been smoking a cigarette. He had like sunken eyes, and he was carrying a machete, and we just walked by each other, smiled and nodded at one another, and kept walking. So I may have just smiled and nodded at a guy who was going to potentially attack someone. But he was very courteous, and I was courteous in response. That's what was important. Again, I was still about the same age, but just like casually walked by a guy who's just carrying a machete down the street. We're just like, Morden? go do that right now. Hell yeah. Heck yeah. Please do, Bear. That would be awesome. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I've had, there's been a number of those situations where you just like pass by people and you're like, huh, neat. I mean, in my second year on campus at college, basically just, not even basically, literally down the street from me, someone had a shootout with the police. And I went to a good college, too. So I don't know what prompted this. But yeah, I was just like down the street one day, just they had a shooting, like he barricaded, he threw out his roommates, barricaded himself in, had a shootout with the police. There were a number of things like that happened when I went to college. I had a very, like, right around me, a lot of, like, right. My college had some bizarre stuff happen. It's crazy. He acknowledged the cutting thing. Game respects game. It was an interesting experience. Like, that's the thing about me. Like, I myself don't get involved in those criminal or chaotic things, but then they like happen around me and I'm just like, oh, neat. Anyways. And I'm never really sure what to do with them. I'm just like, okay. Okay. Let's see. Would it be an image, maybe? Earlier I had found a frequency distribution function that I'm now looking for again. I also found a function here that lets me compare it to the normal distribution. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get too engrossed in it. The thing is, these functions already exist, so why... Oh, sweet. Z's reaching out. Something I could do, actually. I could just manually calculate all these. That seems more fun. Because I feel like part of it, like part of this was not just... Part of the fun of this is, like, I don't want to just use pre-made functions for everything, because that's boring. Like, even here, like, when I did the color conversion, like, I just went ahead and be like, okay, I can just read from a BGR to a HSV kind of thing. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't want to do that. But then again, it's about using my tools. So it's using tools to an extent. But then there are certain things that are just like built-in functions where it's like, why go through the extra steps? I'm on the fence. What do we think? Do we think we utilize Do we think we utilize the built-in stuff? Or do we think we calculate all these from scratch? An applied maths major would say that. I mean, yeah, I mean that's part of the fun though. Part of the fun is having to handle these myself. I don't know. Because, like, so, like, some of them where I'm, like, fine, where it's, like, takes the mean. Okay. I mean, like, yeah, that would be, like, this is 2 seconds. This is 2, like, watch. I'll freaking do it right here. Like, couldn't find the function that deals with it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I saw something where it was, like, converting from a histogram to the frequency distribution. It might have been in PyPlot. It might have been in PyPlot. It might not have been in SciPy, but I will double check. Yeah. So let me so, you know, like some of those are easy. Some of these will be annoying. I mean, so like these two are basically I'm fine with just leaving as is, because it just ravels it, then finds the maximum minimum. Who cares? Okay, you know what? We're gonna do all these. Let's see. You have auto grammar correction? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? What does auto grammar correction mean? I like, what was that in reference to, like, when I say something? Like, if I use the incorrect version of, like, for example, if I were to say more or less versus fewer, and then I do that correction, was I doing that? See, this is one of my favorite parts about streaming, is that chat will notice things, like the variables will notice things about me that I didn't notice about myself that apparently I do. That's so funny. That's so funny. All right. Let me go ahead and, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. This might have to be a oh no, I could, ooh, that's how I could do it. That's how I could do it. Okay. So we're gonna have to raffle it. Okay. X for X in rain, for X in I dot ravel. And then we can actually mess with this. So we want to sum all this, divide that by the size of the population. So and then I want to do X minus And then all of that will get... So this will get summed. Then this will be... Really, I should make a temporary variable. So the mean is going to show up a lot in these. So we're just going to make... What's the alt code for mu? Windows 10 alt code for mu. $230. Perfect. Not perfect. Perfect again. Cool. Yes, I absolutely use Greek letters in my code, and no one can stop me. I am that biscuit, as they say. So let's double check. We're actually gonna need the standard deviation again, so... What's Sigma's? Sigma... alt code. Alt 229. Heck yeah. Okay. Awesome. I don't know why that's... Could be confused with ASI. Yeah, we're not gonna... We're gonna pretend that that doesn't happen. And then so our variance ends up being just sigma squared. See, look at that. We get to save some time with our calculations. Actually more efficient, probably not, but pretend it is. Because I feel like a lot of these calculations happen in a much lower level language than in NumPy itself. But... Stats for mode. Do I keep dims equals true? Mode 0. How is that going to change things? Check A. Keep dims true. Yeah, I guess I wasn't actually sure how it extracted. So, double check. And we're gonna double check the results. No matter what. I want to make sure that my standard deviation formula is correct. We take the square root of the sum of the individual point minus the mean squared. That's what we forgot to do. Squared, and then we divide that whole thing by the population size, which is the length. Or is that the max? Wait. No, size of the population, that's the length. Okay, cool. The median, that's fine. The mode, max, min, that's all fine. The standard error. What's the standard error formula? Oh, that one's really easy. Yeah. Divided by the square root of the population. Which actually brings up an excellent point for myself. Why don't I just define variables at the start? Like, why am I doing it like this? Watch. I know I'm gonna need sigma. I know I'm gonna need mu. I know I'm gonna need a big N. This is the mathematician in me. N equals this. I minus the mean squared. Yeah, actually, that's a good point, is because it's linear. Could I get away with that? I guess because it's a linear My legs have fallen asleep. Yeah. I've been sitting. Wait, hold a minute. Big N. I want to define up here. Earth length. That by big N. Cool. See, this is infinitely more fun than just copying down functions. Instead, we're copying down formulas. The fourth standardized moment, the expected value of the mean, or of x minus mu fourth over. Ooh. Excuse me. Okay, this is actually gonna be really fun. This is gonna be really fun. Kurtosis is gonna be fun. But we're actually gonna do skew first. Because that one's gonna be tricky, and we're gonna put a hold on frequency distribution. I am going to be right back. I'm going to take a quick break to grab some water and use the restroom. So I'm just gonna put a BRB on screen. I need to set up like a small break screen, but where's text? Oh wait, it says 10-minute, but where's this? Properties. A few minute break. Okay. I will be right back in a minute. Enjoy the music. Ah. Okay, I'm back. Your laptop's about to die, so you head up. Okay. Thanks for hanging out while you could. That is always fun. Always fun. That's something I love about this model, is that so I can smile, but then when I do like a big smile, it registers it. Erica, she is the best VTuber mama y papa ever. Es bueno. So let's see, if... variables with countably... That's countably infinite. Ow. So if we want to... Oh, there's tons of different... The tail sum formula. We can statistically... So we can get the expected value a number of different ways. I forgot I was looking at the Poisson. The Poisson different stuff. Let's see, so if we do the expected value of... So for... First, let's look at skew. First, let's look at skew. The skew is gonna... The skew is much easier to do. Right, no, skew is actually pretty simple. Skew ends up just being... Right, okay. We end up taking the... Get the exact... Make sure I don't misread this. The exact skew formula. Yeah. The expected value of a random variable minus mu over the standard deviation cubed gives us our formula for it. So we end up we can we just do that? Can we... If mode is ill-defined... Right, because we don't... The mode gets a bit tricky. Actually, the mode could totally be viable. So there's the Carl Pearson version, coefficient of skewness. Let's take a look at some of these. Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness. The Pearson skewness coefficient. So we have a few different ways we can do it. We can either use mean or we can use mode. Mode is going to be the easier one. Because we... So, does it really matter? Not really. The easier one to write out is going to be the median. But because we're using kind of like a... There's part of me that inherently wants to use mode to do it. For skewness. So what we end up doing is we do... There's fewer calculations if we do that. We take our mode. We do mu, which was what, 239? No. What the heck was... I already forgot what mu's oops, alt code is. Also, I keep making the mistake of getting and then we divide that, I believe, by our standard deviation. Yes, by our standard deviation. Of hitting Alt instead of Control, because half the time I work on a MacBook, and a MacBook is actually, hold on a minute. A MacBook, some of the commands are with the command button, some are with the control button, and they're not exactly one-to-one with Control and Alt. So, was getting my under something. There was somewhat of a competition. Sorry, I'm just responding some messages to plan out a collab. Could be touched on in comparing our okay. That we can calculate this is what's known as the Poisson skewness coefficient, and then calculating kurtosis. How do I calculate kurtosis? I don't actually know this formula either. These are these formulas, and the thing is, I'm not a statistician. So you get into this situation where right, when you calculate the different moments. I forgot about that. Right, I remember doing this when I was doing my other image analysis work. Calculating out all of these individually. That's the first time where I ended up essentially going into the files from, like, I got source files from like a library, from like the SciPy library, or no, the skimage, the sklearn imaging library, or the scikit image library. I ended up getting those feature files and then modifying them to then fit my own stuff, which felt very cool at the time. And then that was like one of the first things I did, and that was very exciting. That I ended up going back and writing a bunch of my own code, which was a very fun thing to essentially have to learn to code on the fly for that sort of stuff. Where it was like, even if I understand how something works with this, and the thing is, I'm not a stats major, so that was also in itself kind of a learning curve, which is very fun. I think is very fun. True, not everybody will be the same, but okay. So I don't see so like we have the Pearson skewness coefficient, which let us do that. What's the difference between the Pearson skewness coefficient and just general skewness? Because it seems like they're just a step away from each other in the different moments. Like we have our third moment. Our third moment of skewness, which is skewness. And then we have our fourth moment, which is kurtosis. I'm actually going to change it to skewness instead of just skew. So we are going to actually redo this instead of doing the Pearson's. I'm actually curious. What's the difference between the regular skewness versus the Pearson coefficient? Is there a difference, or is it just like two different ways to calculate it? Okay, so those are different. Those are different. That makes sense. I was like, they seem notably different. So the Pearson's skewness coefficient is its own within regards to its own mode-based index, as they say, whereas we want the third moment. This is the more standard one. So we're going to do ahead and do both the fourth and third moment as full calculations. So similarly, we do what we do up here, where we take the okay, that's all we'll do. For x in range of, or for x in I dot ravel. This is going to be sigma to the fourth, which in theory we could do our variance squared, but fourth, this is also going to be, oops, the fourth, and then this is going to be x minus mu. Which, guess what? I still don't remember the all. See, this is the pain about using our fun symbols, is that I then don't remember what those are. I could do 1 over n. I kind of like 1 over n. Maybe I should do that instead of divide by n. That's more fun. Oh, and then we need to sum all of this stuff. I got sum. Because if you get to start with the 1 over n. And working with fractions is always more fun. I don't know who's ever said that or even believed it, but it's what I'm going to say right now. Last thing is, I will always prefer fraction over decimals. I don't understand. I think when you're in early mathematics, the decimals are very friendly because it's like, oh, I understand 0.5, I understand 0.2, and they're like, all right, what's 3/7? And you're like, I don't know. So then playing off of that is probably easier for a lot of students to play off of decimals rather than play off of... Sorry, I'm just double checking my equation here. X minus mu to the fourth divided by sigma to the fourth all over n, yeah, is our fourth moment, and then we do essentially the same for our third. Yeah, our third moment is just that to the third power. Cool. All right, see? That's much more fun doing it manually than writing it out every time. So the other thing I wanted to check was this frequency distribution. Now the frequency distribution, after I get a drink of water. Hey, let me double check this. Oh, excuse me. As I said earlier, I saw something, and then I forgot to save it in my mind. Oh, that's cool. There's straight up an nth moment calculation. What's the variant coefficient? Or variation coefficient? Oh, that would just be in the variance, I think. Other websites are loading fine. It's specifically the SciPy docs that just are doing horribly. Huh. The IQR. That'll be its own thing when I do like the IQR and stuff. It might have been a cumulative frequency histogram using the histogram function. Maybe that's what I was looking at? But I feel like it wasn't returning a histogram. It was returning something else. Let me see if it's in the image. Filters. Interpolation, measurements, minimum, standard deviation, the sum, variance, morphology. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. What's a white top hat filter? Hold on a minute. Now I'm just getting distracted again by reading different things. What's a top hat filter? Multi-dimensional white top hat filter. That doesn't explain anything. Oh, is a top hat filter is... Okay, it seems to kind of be a Laplacian. Interesting. So it seems like a top hat filter is kind of like a Laplacian filter, or a Laplace filter. Laplacian filter. Where you end up taking an array, and then you normalize this, you normalize the stuff on the inside and kind of tear down the stuff on the outer layers. So then you're just left with a quote-unquote top hat, which is in the dead center and kind of like a pyramid. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Again, it feels reminiscent of a Laplacian filter. Is that the one I'm thinking of, a Laplacian filter? I feel like it is. Laplacian. Not a Laplace operator. Not saying to. Well, no, yeah. Yeah, 2D filter. Doing his convolution. Yeah, exactly. Or no, so it's not quite a Laplace filter. It's not quite a Laplacian filter. Because a Laplacian filter, how it works is you subtract on the inside. So it's kind of, so I think it's like a top hat filter that's facing upside down. Where essentially, if your top hat is down, you're looking into it. You're looking into it so you have negative values in the center, and then it's made up. You make up for those negative values by having positive values around it, the rim. So you have this rim of kind of neutral numbers, say values of 1, and in the center you have like a -4 or a -9 or something, a negative square, because the rim is the number of subtraction. So it would be a -8 in the center of stuff subtracted around the outside. So, and then I guess a white top hat would kind of be the inverse of that, where you flip the top hat upwards, so then it's pushed up in the center, and you get +8 instead of, or +9 instead of -8. That's my understanding, at least. Or like, that's the best way I can think of relating them. Is that 100% correct? I think they're related, but not necessarily one-to-one. There might be a slight difference. There might be a difference in how they pull from the stuff around, because in both cases, you pull from the stuff around the entire area, the entire window, and then the entire window, you pull from that information to the center and then do stuff there, instead of. So it might be a difference in how the top hat methods pull that information versus how a 2D Laplacian pulls that information, but I digress. Regardless. Bueno. Alright, so I don't see an easy way to do the frequency distribution, so we're actually going to put a hold on that for now. But we did get the fun chunk O aggregate data. And then we can return our dictionary at the end, which holds all that aggregate data. So that's nice. This is and we did it the fun math way, calculated our individual moments. Some of the stuff I was like, whatever, a maximum and a minimum are a maximum minimum. The NDI is just gonna ravel it, give us our maximum, and mainly it gives us the freedom to choose dimensions. In this case, the mode lets us choose dimensions as well, but I think the default is to not do that, so I'm not entirely sure. We could also, in theory, implement Pearson's skewness coefficient, but that is done differently than the third moment, to my understanding, so I'm not gonna do that. Alright, in that case, with these aggregate summary functions, that's good. The other thing we want to do, we're gonna say it's do skewness first. Skewness and kurtosis. We could have a Pearson coefficient be its own thing. Just to have it. Actually, yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Def Pearson skew, or yeah, Pearson skewness skew. We're gonna do a Pearson skewness coefficient just to also have that, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that differs from the third moment version. So. And again, norm by default is false. If norm hello? There we go. Okay. I am hungry. I ate lunch earlier, but that was also about 3 hours ago. Jesus. Wow, I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. Didn't realize. Okay, and so if we want that, the main things we need are the mode. We actually just need the mean and the mode. So we're gonna normalize it, if norm. Do that. We're then gonna oh, we also need the standard deviation. So we're actually gonna just go ahead and grab all these. And then what was it? It was mean minus mode divided by, it was mean minus mode divided by standard deviation, I think. Yeah, and if we didn't have the mode, it would be 3 times mean minus median divided by the standard deviation. Okay, sweet. So we're just gonna go ahead, and there's no reason it wouldn't work, so to speak. And again, I'm not gonna bother throwing errors, because there's a good chance in theory, errors will be caught beforehand. So I don't want to add extra computational checks that we don't need to add. Okay. So really, we just need to go ahead and return mu minus, or what was it? NDI? Yeah. Median or mode? Oh no, that was in stats. Stats, mode. I keep dims true. Mode 0. Okay, cool. This divided by, oops. I like multiplication better. I'm doing this just to be extra, but you know what? Stop me. And that's, you know what probably helps mentally with it? Division, I mean, I'm still dividing, but whatever. 1 over the standard deviation. In my mind, I'm thinking like vector-based, and there's no division with vectors. Vectors don't divide. You never divide with vectors because you can't divide with vectors. Who's that guy? He sucks. That one's cool. But who's this dude? Who's that loser? Now I don't look anything like him. Good. Here's our color conversion. That's all good. I don't need that open. Alright, so we got the Pearson's Q as well as the aggregates. Let's go ahead and... I have the odd urge to play Borderlands 1 right now, and I have no idea why. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look at... different than third of moments. Cumulative. I wanted to look at some cumulative. Because it was in stats. I guess it wouldn't hurt to, instead of the histogram being in the summary stats, have the histogram be its own thing. Having the histogram be its own thing could be good. So, which will more or less like I have no problem with just using the histogram function in the PyPlot. That one's easy enough. So, Ito. Dragon Ball Super's returning at some point. Forgot about that. So since this is aggregate, maybe I don't want these to be capital. How do I want to format these functions? That's the important part. Like, I guess I could do it like that. Lowercase then capital. I prefer that visual over the... And I can do it like Pearson's Q like that. Okay. And the histogram... I'll just end up adding the, like, normalization into everything, I guess. Could I... Wait, could I speed that up by, instead of doing that, do that as a... Put that in args? How does args work? I never remember. Like I said, not a comp sci person, so... Oops. Those are the command line arguments. I guess that would be a Quargs. A Quargs argument. There you go, that's how I do it. Wait, what is that returning? That should return a float. I want to make sure I know what I'm returning. I'm trying to be as clear to myself as possible. So the thing I want to do, or it's like if... That's how I can do it. Like that. If Quargs, and then if the Quargs... Whoops. Like that. Is that right? Then I don't have to set values, they're like default values, but it's like, oh, if that value does get used, then we call it. I think that's how it works. That was something I never really messed around with. I never really took enough comp sci to get a good handle on it, especially when it came to like Python courses, so let's find out. Let's find out. Yeah, I'll have to actually start calling some of this stuff to check. Like I did check on the other one, so we can go ahead and check on these in our features test. So before I do the histogram, let's go ahead and import this from features. Oops. Import star. It's currently stuck on import numpy, the most computationally intensive of all commands. For what? For what? Bolas. Okay. This keeps happening and I don't know why. Go. Ah. Bueno. Alright, that all runs fine. Albeit a little bit blurry, but if I were to zoom in, it should be fine. So then the thing we want to check is... First, I want to see how it returns my aggregate summary data. So if I do... just... summary... is equal to exum of I, and then we're going to say that norm... or sorry, if image norm equals true. Does that work? Provide output from D type a float to a D type uint 8 while casting rules same kind. Okay. So we're throwing error. So, but on the bright side, it ended up running that. Why is there just a suspicious dot there? We're gonna delete the suspicious dot. Oh, it's because it's running in 3D, isn't it? That might take a minute. If we're running in 2D, it'll probably fix it, but... everything gets significantly more difficult in 3D when it comes to calculations and computations, so... Alright, we're killing that. We're killing that. Oh no. It's interrupting the kernel. Oh no. We'll restart the kernel. That's fine. Oh no. Did it kill VTube Studio? Ah. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. Terrifying. Terrifying. Share. What we want to do then... That's the error. That's the error we can throw. If shape, or what is it? Endims? Yeah. Or we can just do it with I and dim, I think. Not equal. Ah! Two. There we go. Couldn't we unravel it though? I want to try and preserve as much data as possible. One of the things we might have to do is separate it and have it loop 3 different times, and then... The other thing we could do is just ravel it right off the bat. So if we just do I equals I dot ravel, what happens? Does that help it? Who knows? I'm scared to run it again, I'll be honest. I'm scared to run it again. What if we just run the Poisson skew? That's probably a lot nicer. So let's do that. Instead of the aggregate summary, let's run the Poisson skew. You, and you. Go. Nine seconds to freaking import a file. Oh, wait, interrupt. I forgot to ravel it on that one. Okay. Where am I? Where am I? Features, Poisson. There we got to. Alright. Now, let's try it. Restart ventilate our kernel. Let's see if that helps him. Taking a while. Uh-oh. So I think one of the problems is that my computer, this PC is not the best for running high-level computations. It doesn't utilize GPU stuff inherently. So I think if I would want to do that, I would have to do it in like JAX or PyTorch or something. So that could be interesting, switching over and then messing with it from there. But until then, doing those calculations might not be very nice on the computer. But they shouldn't be that intensive. That's the thing. They're not crazy high-level computations at all. They're relatively simple, actually. So I've done more difficult stuff. I don't know. But, so that will be actually then where we can leave off, and I'll put on my to-do list. To-do. Feature extraction is running poorly. Address frequency distribution. And then we also have we want to do quantiles. And then LCM. Which is for, oops, come on, you extra. Okay. So that's on my Toto list. This is all going, and we're gonna hit the vectors when we hit the vectors. But until then, the other thing I want to do is go ahead and guess when I'm done with the test notebook, I'll move it out. I don't know. But regardless, I think we got a fair amount done. Technically not a whole lot, but you know what? It's not about the destination. It's about the ride. Okay. Anyways, I have been Poisson, variance, your mathematical maestro and LaTeX linguist. I will see you all tomorrow for Satisfactory, and then on April 1st, we have something fun planned, which will be shown off then. But for now, thank you all for watching. Anyways, I've been Poisson, variance, your mathematical maestro, LaTeX linguist. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time, and bye-bye.